Hi, welcome back to Try It Tuesday. This week we're going to be making this really cool clay phone stand. So I hope you'll join us. Visit the library on Tuesday starting at 4 p.m. We'll have kits outside with all the material that you'll need to make this really cute clay phone stand. Let me show you how it works there. Just set your phone in it. You can watch it. You can listen to music. It's very handy. So if you stop by the library, this is what you're going to find in your kit. It is a little Ziploc bag of air dry clay. You're going to find a little bamboo tool for cutting and for making any texture on your clay. You'll find some string. It's also a great cutting tool. I'll show you how that works later. And you'll find some nail polish, which makes great paint slash sealant for your phone stand. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna move this to the side. The first thing you're gonna do is open up your clay. We gave you just about the right amount. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is soften it up and probably play with it for a little while, which I love to do. I love texture, and this is really just a lot of fun to play with. So you're gonna soften up your clay. I usually start it in a ball shape and then flatten it out from there. It's way too much fun. So what you're gonna go for is, once you have it softened out, you're gonna try to create a rectangular shape. And you're going for about 1/4 of an inch thickness. Let me double check what I wrote here. Yep, about 1/4 of an inch thickness for your rectangle. And you want it to be about 7 inches long and about 3 inches wide. Doesn't have to be exact, but that's just a good rectangular shape to go for if you make a clay stand like this. And of course, I always encourage creativity. So if you want to do something else, something that works a little bit better for you, go ahead. Please send us a photo. I would love to see how you modify this project. It's just really kind of up to your own doing. One thing I want to remind you of is to constantly flip your clay, because if you're rolling and pushing, it'll tend to stick to the surface. And if you're not constantly flipping it, it'll really get very stuck and you won't be able to remove that. So I'm gonna try to stretch mine out just a little bit more. And we can pause here while I get my exact length. Okay, so now that you have about the length and width that you want and the thickness of the clay that you want, you can use your tools to create a finished edge if you like. Not required, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can do that with string. Just going to wrap it around your finger like this, draw it across the portion of the clay that you want to cut, and simply slide back and forth and while pushing down. You want to keep doing that, and it kind of cuts it there. Then you can go back in and lift away the piece of clay that you want to cut away. This stick here as well works to create a nice finished edge. And just continue to take away the extra that you don't want. And you can do that all the way around on all sides. So I'm going to leave one side a little straighter and another side a little more raw, because I like to have variation. Okay, so once you're happy with the shape and the edges, you can use, oh, I forgot to mention, you might want to have a little cup of water on hand nearby to smooth out any cracks or rough edges. Just a tiny bit on your finger, and you just rub it onto the clay like that, and it creates a nice smoother edge. And you might want to do this again when you create the shape for your stand. So you want to have a little cup of water on hand. So the next thing you're gonna do, at this point, actually, if you wanna do any texture or drawings, this would be the point to do it. And again, you can use your stick to do that if you wanna create any line, or if you have a rubber stamp, you can create little texturized surfaces to your clay. So I'm just doing some crisscross patterns. You don't have to do this step, it's totally optional. So I'm going to do a little bit on one side and I'll leave the other side blank just to have some variation. And like I said, rubber stamps would be great to use. You can use a fork, anything you have around the house really. Okay, so now if you're happy with your creation, you want to start lifting it to create the shape for your stand. Okay. So the first thing you're going to want to have is the back, like what I would call the foot. So you want to make sure you have that pushed down and flat. That's pretty much going to be like the stabilizer. That's what's going to hold everything together. Then you want to lift. This is where it gets interesting. You want to lift the center up and maybe have your phone on hand to see if that's about how high it needs to be in order to hold your phone up. So I want mine a little bit higher. So I'm going to create this like wave basically. Then I'm going to get some books or anything I have around the house that's heavy to hold it in place. So now I need the lip on the front here to hold my phone from falling out, right? So you need to create that. And again, I usually have my phone or my device on hand here so that I can kind of test it out. You don't want to put any pressure on it because it's not dry yet. You might also want to find something to set in the center. I did not do that with this. I did not need to, but it wouldn't hurt if you put a little object in there. And then this is the hard part. This is really the difficult part. You have to leave it alone for 24 hours. Don't touch it. Don't move it. Don't play with it. It will dry and it will harden, and then is the final step. So once 24 hours goes by, you'll have a nice solid, like really solid piece of clay. And that's when you can get markers. Permanent markers work best. You can write on it, you can draw on it, you can do any kind of decorations you would like to on it at that step. And then the final step is to paint it. So the nail polish is great because it comes with its own little brush and the color, and it creates like an enamel seal. So it's really good for finishing. So you just get your nail polish and paint it. I would paint both the top side and the underside. You can use different nail polishes. You can use the one that we provided for you, or you can use one that you have at home as well. And then once you paint it, I would let it set for a good hour to dry, and then you have your phone stand all ready to use. Place your device and enjoy. Thanks for joining us this week, and hope to see you next week. Aloha!